Joining us right now, we have Dr. Erika Woolsey joining us. She is a marine biologist, ocean educator, and National Geographic Explorer. She's conducted most of her research on the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, where she investigated how warming oceans are impacting coral reefs, specifically how it's hindering survival, so development of young coral after mass spawning. Most recently, she is the CEO of The Hydrous, a nonprofit that combines science, design, and technologies such as virtual reality and photogrammetry for ocean education. I'm going to bring her in live right now. Hey, Erika, how you doing?
Hi, Joe. Great to be here.
All right. Well, it is great to see you. As always, we're thrilled to have you joining us. And after we get to know you a little bit better, I think we're going to dive into your world a little bit, which should be a lot of fun.
That sounds great. I love taking people diving.
All right, excellent. Well, those tuning in right now, if you're on something like a desktop or a laptop, make sure you have something like a tablet or your mobile phone handy, because Erika's going to share a QR code. You can scan that right with your device, and then you can interact with the little virtual dive that we're going to do. Erika, I'm going to let you take over for a little bit now.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Joe. And when you have your tablet or smartphone, make sure that the YouTube app is installed as well. So I'd love to tell you a little bit about, before we go on this virtual dive, I want to tell you a little bit about just different ways that I get to share the ocean, because sharing the ocean is my favorite thing, and it's just too good not to share. And I get to do that with an amazing array of projects with my organization, The Hydrous, and an incredible group of people. So I'm hoping that in addition to the virtual dive I'll take you on, I might provide you some other resources to both dive in and also share it with others. So this organization that I run is called The Hydras, and our mission is to create what we like to call open access oceans so that all people can explore, understand, and engage with marine environments that are severely threatened by factors like climate change and direct impacts like overfishing and marine pollution. And it's just an organization that seeks to translate scientific discovery in our ocean into public understanding and inspiration and action. And so one of the things that we first became known for are these beautiful 3D models of corals collected around the world by my incredible co-founders and team through our pre-COVID expeditions. And these 3D models are free to view and download. And what's amazing is we've had a lot of scientists use these models for different work, because these 3D digital models are data rich with things like volume and surface area. We also use them for education ourselves, but they're available to educators around the world who, especially if they have access to 3D printers, can share it with their learners. And we also have artists that are really interested in these models. So we've seen great examples of them being used in art exhibits and in different types of digital art. So check them out on our website. You can click and spin them around because they have 3 dimensions. And you can also download and think about ways that you might use them in your work. And this work has led us to really wonderful partnerships, including with the Smithsonian. The Digitization program office there does some incredible stuff of 3D scanning and digitizing specimen collections at the National Museum of Natural History. And we had the incredible honor to work with them to help curate these models and make more than 100 specimens, which are usually just in drawers and on shelves and out of reach to most people, available open access. So definitely check that out. And then that partnership led to another great tool using a type of technology called Augmented Reality, or AR. So you might know examples of AR through things like Pokemon Go or different filters on social media. So what we're seeing here is this girl is holding up a tablet, and through the tablet, she can see a coral reef in her living room and interact with it in different ways. And so the Smithsonian Digitization Program Office, the Hydras, and Adobe worked together to create an augmented reality experience. And check out our website in the Dive from Home tab, and you can go diving yourself and bring a coral reef based on real life models into your living room. And the whole experience is narrated by the incredible Danny Washington, who I'll talk more about later because we get to do some really cool stuff together. And when it comes to immersive interactive media, we also are really interested in 360 degrees, so you can feel immersed. And we can use tools like a smartphone and a affordable cardboard viewer to have an immersive experience. This photosphere that the Hydras collected in the Maldives after a mass bleaching event has been viewed millions of times and is a really cool tool of sort of teleporting to different places and feeling like you're there, because when you turn your head in the experience, the world turns with you. And a lot of this is synthesized in our new project that I'm really excited about. It came from original funding by the National Geographic Education, and it's a ocean kit that is suitable for classrooms or museums or even for home use, that basically has all these great tools that combine 3D printing as well as 360 viewing. There's a little viewer in there that looks like a dive mask. And then a bunch of fun, hands-on, learner-led activities. So again, check out our website. There are a lot of different ways you can connect to the ocean and share it with others. And when it comes to 360, we've also used some incredible technology, including this really special camera back in 2018. Our incredible cameraman, Rick Miskiv there, is handling a camera called the Virtual 2, which basically has 13 cameras mounted in an underwater housing. And it captured 51 gigabytes per minute. And we were able to stitch them together with our incredible team of producers and directors and turn it into a 360-degree dive of the coral reefs of Palau. So here I am diving with a manta ray. Note that my hands are respectfully kept to myself because I love to give wildlife underwater the space that they need to just go about their lives. And this 360 VR dive has won awards at different festivals. Pre-COVID, we would take it to a bunch of different events and classrooms, and has been a really great way to share the ocean and connect with people. And we've been able to scale that into the National Geographic VR theater, for instance. So you note that I'm live narrating on stage, and everybody in the audience has a virtual reality headset. These are Oculus Go's, and they're all going diving at the same time. And it's an incredible social and emotional experience. And you can view this content on YouTube. It has over 1 million views now on the National Geographic YouTube channel, and it's interactive. You can view it just on your desktop, as well as with different devices like the cardboard viewer, or if you have access to a higher end headset like Meta Quest 2, for instance, or an HTC Vive, those are also great ways to access it. And to add on to what my team and I get to do is we're also creating new virtual reality experiences that are interactive. So next month, we're going to have the free to view experience called Explore available on the Meta Quest 2, where you can actually use your hand controllers to interact and become a scientist, to tag manta rays, monitor ocean temperature from outer space, and even conduct biodiversity surveys underwater. So it's really exciting what these technological tools can help us do, and also train us to become marine biologists. So before we go into the dive, I want to talk a little bit more about the cool stuff I get to do with really cool people. Maria Sole Bianco, Danny Washington, and I run a podcast called 21st Century Mermaids that Danny hosts, and it's all about women in ocean science and conservation. So we had 6 mermaid guests for season 1, and they're all incredible women with incredible stories. Definitely have a listen, learn about all these different ways women around the world are making a difference in ocean health. We're just starting to launch season 2, so stay tuned. And this project, 21st Century Mermaids, as well as other stuff we do at the Hydras, is associated with the current United Nations Decade of Ocean Science, which started last year and goes till 2030. The tagline is "The science we need for the ocean we want." So it's a global effort of many different organizations to really approach ocean science in a thoughtful and organized way. And the Hydras, our program is called the Decade of Ocean Empathy because we're really interested in combining both evidence, so the science, with empathy, so the sort of human-centered, emotional connection aspect. And we're seeking to contribute to the United Nations Decade Outcome number 6, which is an accessible ocean, which I think works really well with our motto of open access oceans, and outcome 7, which is an inspiring and engaging ocean, which again ties back to that really important message of how we connect to the ocean and each other. So in order to share the ocean, I need an incredible group of partners, including from these incredible organizations. And I feel just very lucky to do the work that I do. So now I'd love to take you on a virtual dive, and you can do that in a number of ways. Like Joe said in the beginning, if you happen to have a smart device like a tablet or a phone, get out your camera. I'm going to show you a QR code that you can capture, and you don't need a cardboard viewer. You can move your phone or tablet around like this, and the whole experience will move with it, assuming your phone or tablet has a gyroscope, or you can drag with your finger. You can also find the experience on the National Geographic YouTube channel. It's also on the Hydras website if you somehow missed the QR code. And I'll be showing a 2-dimensional version of the 360 video as well. So if you're ready, here's the QR code. Take out your device and capture it, and go to the YouTube app. And you may want to adjust the quality. So if you go to the settings, you can make sure that it's high quality because it's originally 4K video. So it should look nice and crisp and clear. You can also make it full screen. And if you happen to have a cardboard viewer, you can select the cardboard icon so that it will turn into a split view, and you can turn your phone sideways and insert it into the viewer for a fully immersive experience. So if you are currently diving, I recommend muting me and muting this show for just a few minutes while you go on a virtual dive. But I'm going to also show the video. It's about 9 minutes, so that those of you who don't have these devices can follow along as well. So I'm going to just swap right out of that and share. Oh, I'm going to save it. Share Immerse. So enjoy. And I hope you can hear it.
Hey, Erica, the sound isn't coming through.
Okay.
But I'm wondering if I queue it up on the same time as my phone, if we can just let my phone sound come through. You think that would work?
That could work, yeah.
Okay, let's take it back to the beginning.
I can also try taking off my headphones.
Yeah, I mean, we can try that too and see if that comes through, yeah.
Diversity is the collection of life in all its shapes and forms. We depend on biodiversity for clean water and air, for food and medicine, and for the overall resilience of our planet.
At the heart of all of this diversity in the ocean is one of the most amazing ecosystems on our planet, coral reefs.
When you look at a coral reef, what you see is really cathedral-like. It's a huge structure. Corals they compete for space. So they grow side by side, one on top of the other. That now creates space for other organisms to live in.
Sadly, biodiversity in our oceans is declining rapidly. We're losing species before we even discover them. On coral reefs, higher than normal ocean temperatures are causing the corals to turn white and die. Sustained high temperatures stress out the coral animals enough to expel their symbionts, which are a type of specialized algae that live in the coral tissues and provide food for their coral host. When these algae are gone, you can see through the clear coral animals to their white calcium carbonate skeleton, hence the term bleaching.
So the major threats to coral reefs are those associated with climate change. And so the responsibility to protect coral reefs is not limited to the people that live right beside them. We need to raise our voices for more sustainable practice and walk the talk when it comes to our individual choices regarding sustainability as consumers.
Scientists have been carefully observing coral reefs for decades. These ongoing monitoring programs have measured dramatic declines. Living coral cover has decreased by about 50% in the last 50 years. Much of this change occurred during the global bleaching event from 2015 to 2017, which was unprecedented in scale and severity.
So for me as a scientist, witnessing firsthand the coral bleaching in 2016 was really life-changing. But it wasn't until I saw it with my own eyes, being out at sea and traveling hundreds of miles every day and seeing the same image of devastation time after time, that's when it really hit home how disastrous this event really was.
What people need to know is they are a part of nature. And as part of nature, they depend on coral reefs. Education is everything. And we failed to educate people that they are deeply indebted.
What I find most hopeful is our youth and their position towards climate change. While many of our national leaders still choose to conveniently ignore the harsh realities of climate change, young people generally seem to get the issue, accept it as a fact, and want to tackle this global threat.
The ocean is something that can protect itself, it just doesn't have a voice. I think the thing that gives me the most hope for the future and for our planet is the expansion of the global movement. It's really beautiful to see these kids completely transform and get ready to take on these global problems.
Coral reefs are miraculous places. Life in these ecosystems can reproduce and persevere in amazing ways. Corals can replenish themselves through mass spawning events each year when billions of gametes are released after sunset and around the full moon. The resulting larvae can drift with the water to settle and grow new corals on degraded reefs.
There's tremendous healing power that's built into the genetics and to the evolution of coral reefs. And if we give them half a chance, they can recover.
The ocean grants you that kind of magical feeling that the land cannot really offer you. if we take it in a romantic way, the ocean it's gonna remain my first love.
When you see the beauty and magic of the ocean as closely, how could you not want to protect it?
Well, I truly believe that the ocean doesn't divide us, that it's a way of connecting all of us.
It's not too big a problem, and we can solve it. We've managed systems from the brink of extinction. We can do anything. We just have to allow ourselves to begin and get busy. You and I start today, that will make a difference. And if we talk to 10 other people who will start today, that will make a difference. We will and we can start a movement.
There's so much magic on this blue planet. You just have to look for it and take people along with you. The ocean's too good not to share.
All right. Well, Erika, thank you so much for taking us on that dive experience. It's really cool on YouTube, but it's also really special when you can use the headset and just kind of feel the extra little bit immersed. And like you mentioned, there's all kinds of options from, you know, more expensive tech options to the cardboard, which, yeah, I don't think costs too much. I think it's a few dollars for one of the cardboard headsets. And it's, yeah, what a great video. What a great way to bring the ocean immersively and live to people around the world and students. And I think one of the number one questions that I got as an educator, and I think other educators do, especially in landlocked areas, is why should we care about our ocean? We're so far from it. What does it do for us? And I think that comes from having not experienced it. And you're able to bring it to classrooms in such a vivid way.
Absolutely. And the ocean is overexploited, underprotected, and very much out of mind. And it's separate from us for so many real reasons. Like we can't breathe underwater. It can be, you know, hard to really access these places. But human health relies on healthy oceans, whether it's the oxygen the ocean provides for us to breathe, the food it provides for us, the climate regulation it does, the way that coral reefs and mangroves act as natural breakwaters to protect shorelines from erosion. And so many communities around the world rely directly on coral reefs or ocean ecosystems for food and livelihood. So it's also, the ocean is so important for healthy economies and healthy people.
Yeah. And it's such a powerful way to, you know, we see coral reefs pictured as these pristine environments full of life. And so to maybe start seeing that and then to immerse into an environment of a bleached system, you know, dead coral, rubble from the skeletons coming apart. What a powerful way for people to see what's happening, the change that's happening.
Absolutely. And it's so different to see graphs and data, which are so valuable and important. But when you can visualize it in some way through imagery and through really thoughtful storytelling, it makes it feel real. And that psychological distance is, you know, becoming shorter so that we can connect with and protect these places effectively.
Yeah. And that's an exciting area of research right now is there more empathy when people visit these spots, when they see what's happening, when they're immersed in the story, as opposed to maybe, you know, a two-dimensional magazine or being told the story from someone like a teacher or, yeah.
And I have so many brilliant colleagues who are researching just that, to understand the effects of this medium on human connection, social, emotional skills, and science learning. And so far, it seems like a really promising tool if used well.
Yeah, absolutely. We just had Sydney Hamilton with us before
amazing.
you came on, and she's using 3D printing in a different way, structural components for things like satellites. Where did you get the idea to start doing the coral and then to start dispersing it in this way into classrooms, into exhibits and things like that?
Well, I wish I could claim credit for that idea, but it was really my co-founders, Sly Lee and Yasmin Smalley and Nora Hall, who started conducting photogrammetry, which is basically underwater 3D modeling, where they took cameras and took multiple pictures around a coral colony, for instance, and then we were using Autodesk software to stitch it all together. And what the result was this incredibly beautiful visualization of a coral reef, and you could collect it and bring it to the surface without damaging the coral. I mean, it's a different stage in sort of scientific and artistic collection that isn't destructive. It's such a cool method, and I'm just glad I was introduced to it by those colleagues.
Yeah, of course. I mean, watching the presentation, the amount of projects and ideas, and I'm sure there's other things in the back of your mind. You haven't even started certain projects yet. So absolutely amazing. It's very exciting. I want to share a couple links here to make sure people can follow along. I can see some people in the chat asking for the website link, so I'm going to put that up there again. So the hydrous.us is a great spot to start. To see what is being done. And then, of course, we want people following along your adventures, your explorations, what's new, what's coming next. So there we'll put up the Twitter and Instagram handles as well, so people can follow along there.
And I've been pretty landlocked lately without all the normal expeditions I do out into the world, but it's led to some pretty fun projects on how we connect people to each other and the ocean.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Very cool. Well, Erika, thank you so much for sharing the work you're doing with us. Thank you for taking us on that virtual dive. And I mean, I know my favorite part was the mantas. I'm sure everybody has different parts that they enjoy most, but seeing them in the water is just, yeah, absolutely amazing.
It's quite a privilege to dive with them. And it's a privilege to be here, Joe. Thank you so much for organizing this event and for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, Erika. We'll let you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully you can tune into a few more as well.
I certainly will. Take care.
Thanks, Erika.